There's no cure for racing. You're not even going broke. The only cure for racing is the end of our lives, not the end of our career.
By far the best series I've ever raced in, dollar for dollar. I can race all year on a quarter what it would cost me to run anything else.
Here you can beat it out or make a new one and be back the next week. And it's really an affordable series. I really like it.
It's nice to come back, and have the car slide around and, put it back in the driver's hands. I like that.
Hey everybody, Olivia Pritchett here coming at you from Dominion Raceway. This multi-use complex offers oval racing, drag racing, kart racing, and road course racing. Drivers Kevin Cromer and Brent Nelson have both ran well at this track in the past, but they have had some bad luck for the past 3 races, dealing with a lot of damage repairs. Then you have driver Ben Ebling, who has the most momentum right now, given that he won 2 races at Kingsport Speedway and has a 15-point lead for the Southern Division. And last but not least, driver Bob Schacht is in the lead for the National Championship and remains undefeated here at Dominion Raceway.
Thank you, Olivia, and hello, race fans. I'm Gene Crane, along with Olivia Pritchett. We're covering the action of the Super Cup Stock Car Series tonight at Dominion Raceway. First of twin 50s about to roll off, the Patrick Miller Photography Twin 50s, presented by Best Western of Thornburg. As the field rolls out, let's take a look at our starting lineup. Row number 1, Brent Nelson starts on the pole in the 80 car, and Stephen Cox in the 21 car lines up alongside him. As mentioned, undefeated here at Dominion, Bob Schacht's 75 car on the inside of row 2, and the veteran Larry Berg on the outside in the 7. Newcomer to the Super Cup, Toby Grinovich on the inside with car 40. That's row 3, and Kevin Cromer on the outside in the 77. Mike Potter has the 14 on the inside of row 4, and Larry Wilcox in the 6 car on the outside. Row number 5 on the inside, Bill Ashton lines up with a 35, and Chris Barbeau with the 85. Mark Jones has his car number 22 to the inside of row 6. He is joined by the 3 car of Jason Shue. Newcomer in 2018 to Super Cup, Warren Butler, young lady in car number 53 on the inside of row 7. And on the outside, the 2-time winner at Kingsport, Ben Ebling in the 44. And making his first start in the Super Cup Series inside row 8, car number 27 is Hayden Brothers. Field shaping up in the 14-degree bankings. 14-degree bank on either end of Dominion Raceway. Side by side, working their way to turn 4, looking to the flag stand for the green. Side by side, slowly, slowly, there's the green. And we're underway here at Dominion Raceway and down to turn 1. Looks like Brent Nelson will get the jump. He'll take the lead, and wow, he really starts to leg it out there off of turn 2. Make it a 3, almost 4 car length advantage over Stephen Cox as Brent Nelson leads them off of turn 4 and lap number 1. On board with Larry Berg, struggling from the outside as Toby Grinovich gets by in that 40 car. Berg still on the outside. Here's the 14 of Potter taking a nose to the inside. Everybody chasing Brent Nelson. Nelson trying to check out. On board with Mike Potter. Potter's been to victory lane in the Super Cup Series, but as an owner, he wants to get there as a race winner. A veteran of many forms of motorsports all the way up to the Cup Series. Mike Potter works his way by Larry Berg, but struggled earlier today.
No, it ain't working as good here as it did there, but I'm working on it.
What are some changes you're making?
Well, we just changing some stagger and some wedge, and that's about it. I just get to where I can win a race.
Well, he set quick time at Kingsport Speedway, the most recent Super Cup Series event, and was contending most of the night. Mike Potter will eventually get to victory lane, I have no doubt. Right now, Brent Nelson, he's been to victory lane in the Super Cup Series and trying to do it again. He has a very early lead here at Dominion Raceway as we look at our top 5 going to break. It's Brent Nelson, Bob Schacht, Toby Grinovich, Stephen Cox, and Kevin Cromer. Don't go away. More from Dominion right after this. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Lincoln Welders and by Sta-Bil Oil Stabilizer. Prevent corrosion above and below the oil line. Super Cup Stock Car action here at Dominion Raceway, Thornburg, Virginia. First of the Patrick Miller Photography Twin 50s presented by Best Western of Thornburg. Everybody chasing Brent Nelson. And this 80 car, Bob Schacht has been able to separate himself from that second on back battle to firmly put himself in second. Toby Grinovich and that 40 car, one of our newcomers, solidly in that third spot at this juncture. On board with Warren Butler, this young lady, also a newcomer in 2018, brings a track championship to her credit here this year.
So I started out when I was about 14 years old. We started in the Legacy division, traveled around a little bit, went down to Hickory Speedway, but we mainly stayed at Motordrome in Jennerstown and PA. That division got canceled, so we moved up into street stocks. Won the championship last year at Jennerstown Speedway, first woman to do so. It's been a really good year. We've always been interested in the Super Cup division. We've been following it for about the past 7-8 years, so we finally are able to get here, so we're super excited about that.
Certainly glad to have Warren along with us, but right now up front, it's gotten intense. Bob Schacht just close in as they move up on Warren Butler's 53 car and put her a lap down. Schacht in that second spot is now set to contend Brent Nelson for the race lead as they work down the back straightaway. Schacht, we thought was retired.
I never used that word. I never retired. I took a pause. I wanted to do something to have fun again. I basically quit in 01. I had hurt my neck so many times that I went and tested at Atlanta, and when it was a new track, and I couldn't hold my head up anymore. So with that, it was really a dumb process of, 4 or 5 days at the chiropractor trying to get my neck straightened out and then go back and race again and come back and see him. So it wasn't no fun then. So I quit for almost 15 years, and then I started playing around doing the road course thing, and I'm like, wow, my neck doesn't hurt no more. So here I am.
I can guarantee he's holding his head very high these days. A lot of success in 2018 for Bob Schacht. On board with Stephen Cox. Well, there is the third place car of Toby Grinovich in trouble. Looks like he's headed to pit road. Stephen Cox will take over third. Had a runner-up finish at Kingsport just a couple of weeks ago. Did it with a good race car, but also racing the rule book. Just another part of the aspects you need to pay attention to in stock car racing.
At Kingsport, we chose the outside, and Super Cup has a choose-your-own-lane policy. When you go past the start-finish line, you can choose to go to the inside line or the outside line. Well, first and second and third place all took the inside. And so I was talking to Thomas Robaugh on the radio, and he goes, wherever the car in front of you goes, you go the other way. And so we pulled up to the outside, and we restarted on the outside pole. And unfortunately, we just couldn't quite get Ben Ebling. He was faster than us all day, just drove a great race. But, the key is to be there at the end, to keep the tires under the race car. That's absolutely vital. And to have mechanical grip more than aerodynamic grip, and to have your tires balanced to where you're not burning up one to sacrifice the car, where all the tires are working equally. And these cars will go fast.
Will certainly put on a great show there at Kingsport, but Stephen Cox just found himself being passed by Ben Ebling, the gentleman he was talking about, winning the races at Kingsport. Ebling up to third in the 44 car. Meanwhile, up front, Bob Schacht is there, but he hasn't quite been able to get by Brent Nelson in the 80 car. Lead battle back to turns 3 and 4. Schacht looks to the inside. Nothing doing there as we head to break. Let's take a look at our top 5. Brent Nelson and Bob Schacht up front. Ben Ebling up to third. Stephen Cox back to fourth. And Kevin Cromer continues to round out your top 5. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by RacingJunk.com and by G-Force Racing Gear, your home for quality, innovation, and value. Super Cup Stock Car Series action at Dominion Raceway. Patrick Miller Twin 50s presented by Best Western of Thornburg, and riding along with Larry Berg. Berg has struggled right from the get-go, and see a very loose 6 car of Larry Wilcox. Wilcox will go a lap down to Larry Berg. Leaders off the corner, including Larry Berg and Toby Grinovich, who had a late trip to pit road with a right front tire problem. Up front, though, it is Nelson still holding court Bob Shack to the 75 is right there on his rear bumper cover. Shack's going to look to the inside. Bob Shack gets a nose alongside in turn 3. Has the preferred line, and looks like Bob Shack will come out of turn 4 and take over the race lead here at Dominion Raceway. On board with your race leader, Bob Shack. He'll roll off into turn 3. Nice smooth line. That car's really come to Bob Shack, current point leader, and trouble up ahead in turns 1 and 2. Car to the inside, Toby Grinovich. Had been in third position, had a right front tire problem, and apparently handling problems still prevail on the 40 car after he advanced to third and closed in on the leaders. Here's another look at it. You see Bob Shack getting on the binders, wowing that 75 car down, and Toby Grinovich down to the inside. Apparent problems as he went around unassisted. Meanwhile, in the pits, Lauren Butler has brought the 53 onto pit road. Lauren Butler climbing out of her race car.
Hey, tell us what happened.
We're just having issues with overheating on the oil temperature. We don't want to blow it up, so gotcha. The car feels good, though. I mean, the track's good. The car feels good. It just, it is what it is.
On board with Larry Berg as he catches up to the field as we are under caution for the spin of Toby Grinovich. 2018 schedule, Super Cup Stock Car Series, supercupstockcarseries.com, your place for all information on Super Cup racing. You see, we've been obviously starting here at Dominion a while back, but Midvale Kingsport today at Dominion. We head next to Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. We'll finish out the month of September right back here at Dominion Raceway. What a beautiful racetrack this is. You can check it out at supercupstockcarracing.com or just Google SCSCS. You'll see that it will pop right up to your favorite Super Cup pages. Larry Berg's been unhappy with his car's handling all day. That's grandson Cody Robaugh making adjustments on the number 7 to try to free it up in the corners. Many short track fans around the country already know Cody Robaugh. He's a graduate of the Super Cup Series. He's gone on to considerable success in the ARCA Series on super speedways, including Pocono and Talladega. Cody also ran very strong at the NASCAR truck race in Bristol this summer, so the young man's future looks very, very bright. And with any luck, Larry Berg will have a bit more manageable car now. Field shaping up. You can see Berg uses that choose rule. Actually lines up third row. Outside third row, 6th position. Meanwhile, for the restart, it's Shack and Ebling. Ebling also using the choose rule. It looks like Ben Ebling's going to take over the lead from the outside from Bob Shack. Ben Ebling, your new leader, has already been to victory lane twice so far in 2018. Has been the nemesis of Bob Shack so far this season. Ebling with a strong race car and a lot of talent. 3 trips to victory lane in his Super Cup career. He shows the way over Bob Shack, Brent Nelson, Stephen Cox, and Kevin Cromer. Don't go away. We'll be back with a little bit more here at Dominion. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Patrick Miller Photography and by 303. Keeps your car looking new longer. Super Cup Stock Car action right here at Dominion Raceway in Thornburg, Virginia. Patrick Miller Photography Twin 50s, where Ben Ebling wrestled the lead away from Bob Shack on the restart, but has not been able to put any distance between himself and the point leader. Bob Shack continuing to haunt Ben Ebling as we see Larry Berg on pit road. He was on pit road during the caution. Not sure what the problem is. Olivia, what's up?
Number 7 pulling in again for another chassis adjustment. Just not liking how the car is handling.
Some big adjustments there by Cody Robaugh. Several rounds taken out of the track bar by Cody Robaugh. Larry Berg heading back onto the racetrack, but several laps down now to the race leader, Ben Ebling. That battle up front continues. There is Bob Shack all over that rear bumper cover, looking for a way around Ben Ebling. These two have been strong all season long. bypassing the 27 of Hayden Brothers. We go back to turn 3. Shack closes in right in the center of the corner. Ebling, car steps out just a little bit, but Shack not able to take any advantage at that set of corners. Now Bob Shack to the inside of Ben Ebling off of turn 2. Ebling gets the run and down to turn 3 side by side as they battle for the lead at this gorgeous facility. Multi-purpose facility. Bob Shack takes over the lead here on the 4/10 mile. But we had a chance earlier to talk with co-owner and promoter Steve Britt about the facility they have been able to put together here in Thornburg, Virginia.
Dominion is really designed kind of like a millennial track a little bit. It takes some of the things that people in baseball and football are doing, where you have decks and you have social areas and you have milling, people moving about and not being constricted to a bench seat or a grandstand seat. And we designed this so we could run 2 different, I guess you could even do 3 to some extent, motorsports events at a time. We have a road course, we have a drag strip, we have an oval track, and we've got a tire dealership here that serves 3 states. And so it's just a bunch of different businesses that make it all work.
What a fantastic facility. Quite exciting to come to Dominion Raceway, and looking forward to doing it several more times in 2019, as attested to by Series Director Joe Schmaling.
Dominion Raceway is one of the finest short tracks in the country. We've been here 3 times before. We're already scheduled to come back next year. We haven't picked a date yet, but we'll be back here several times. The Super Cup Series at this point in time is looking at doing premier racetracks, and this is one of them. We did 4 first-class facilities this year: Dominion, Jennerstown, Midvale, and Kingsport. And we're hoping to add a few next year, but if we don't, we'll just come to these first-class facilities.
I can tell you during the offseason leading into 2018, several really nice tracks showing interest in the Super Cup Stock Car Series. Hopefully that will come to fruition in 2019 as well. But right now on the track, it's Larry Berg. He's been to pit road several times trying to get by Mark Jones in the 22 car. Jones out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Slides up to the high side. Looks like Larry Berg's going to work his way by. Larry Berg, several unscheduled stops for handling issues here tonight as we head to break. Look at our top 5. Bob Shack, Ben Ebling, Brett Nelson up to 3rd, Stephen Cox in 4th, and Mike Potter, he's made his way back to 5th. We'll be back. The Super Cup Stock Car Series is brought to you by Extreme Awards and Personalization, and by G-Force Racing Gear, your home for quality, innovation, and value. Super Cup Stock Car Series action at Dominion Raceway. We come back and focus on the 3rd place battle. Stephen Cox is reeled in. Brent Nelson, pole sitter, as we see weather threatening in the distance off of turns 3 and 4. Laps closing down, that may not be an issue. But nonetheless, Stephen Cox trying to get by Brent Nelson as they battle back to turns 1 and 2. Nelson up the racetrack. You can see some sparks or something, maybe a right front tire down on the 80 car, but Stephen Cox takes over 3rd. Here's the lead battle. Ben Ebling, as they come to the white flag, all over the back of Bob Shack. Shack was able to get by Ebling. Ebling with one last charge out of turn 2 into turn 3. Can he get there? Ebling within a half a car length off of turn 4. They come, checkers in the air, and Bob Shack remains undefeated at Dominion Raceway in Super Cup action. Bob Shack takes the ACC 75 car to the start-finish line, and the checkers, he'll pick up those checkers and make his way to victory lane here tonight. Ebling gave it a valiant charge right there at the end, with Stephen Cox finishing in that 3rd spot. Yeah, Bob Shack's having a lot of fun. Here he is out of the race car, your winner, Bob Shack.
Woo! Congratulations, Bob Shack. Now, do I understand that you're still undefeated here at Dominion Raceway?
Well, I'll tell you what, they made me work for that one, so wow. It means a lot. I mean, you know, Arnie and Barb Hendrickson from ECC, I mean, God, they've been behind me forever. And my guys, you know, all my guys at the shop that helped me, Wintron, Todd Myers. I just kind of rode there behind the 80 car there a little bit, and then I noticed that my car wasn't as good as I thought it was. So when I finally did get by him and stuff, then something started going on with the right front, so we'll have to go look and see what it is. 44 started catching me there again, so I knew it was time to get by him because of what was going on in the right front. I thought I was getting a flat tire, so I didn't want to give him a chance.
Thank you.
Bob Schacht in Victory Lane, and as he said, a very long-standing sponsorship there. Yeah, I'm coming after you, says Bob Schacht. Second place is Ben Ebling.
Ben, that was quite a battle going on out there. What happened?
That wore me out. Just a little miscommunication on race procedures. We didn't get the tire set when we needed to and got penalized for it. It is what it is. No big deal. We tried to make up for it the best we can, and we just used up everything we had trying to get there, and didn't have anything left for the leader when we got there. So I think he might have been toying with me a little bit, but if I could have got to his bumper, I'd at least made it look interesting, kind of like the 21 did that last race. But it's all good. We had fun. Congratulate to Bob on his win there. So definitely enjoyed it. But that was everything I had. Just got to thank my sponsors for getting us here. Startown Carpet and Flooring, SwanniesAutoSales.net, Battery Specialists at Hickory, Wrench Rags. All these people make it happen for me to get here. And then my wife, my family, my crew, all that help us do this. So really a big part of it, the family aspect here in the Super Cup Series. We really love that. So.
Stephen Cox, you caught third place on the last turn, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was on the last lap, and I knew that Brent Nelson in the 80 was having a hard time in turn one. He pushed up high several times in a row. I was seeing sparks come out from under his car, so I don't know if he burned up his front right or if he was cutting down a front right tire, what the problem was, but I could see what was happening, so I backed my corners up, hit the gas earlier so Brent would see vroom in his rearview mirror every single corner. He went high a couple of times, and I finally got him at the end. But Brent's a fantastic guy to race with. I never touched him. He never touched me. And you can go into any corner with Brent, and you're all right.
It was some good racing under impending weather. Bob Schacht, Ben Ebling, Stephen Cox, your top three. Mike Potter recovers for fourth, does a great job there. Kevin Cromer will finish in fifth. Mark Jones in that sixth position. Brent Nelson drops to seventh with the right front problem. Chris Barbeau will finish eighth. Toby Grinovich is ninth, and Larry Berg rounding out your top 10. 11th was Larry Wilcox, Jason Shue 12th, and Hayden Brothers, his first outing in Super Cup, finishes in 13th. For Olivia Pritchett and the entire Sopwith Motorsports crew, I'm Gene Crane, and we look forward to seeing you next time we go Super Cup racing.